Well, Whitley, our first episode, we were so happy to be in the playoffs. And here we are, episode 4. And it's like, oh my gosh, we are in the playoffs.
We
I
are
can't
in
let
the
people know this.
playoffs.
Yes.
And is it a grind? Can we just say?
So if you're wondering why we have glasses on indoors, it's because we've been grinding. And you don't need to see all that grind on our face, okay?
I don't
I'm
want you to see
tired.
the swollen dark puffs underneath my eyes right now.
Okay. And I'm like coming off of a stomach bug. So I'm barely making it in here. Got Theraflu in my cup. Um, yeah, Theraflu in my cup. So let's us start on this episode. If you cannot tell, we're a little discombobulated today. First of all, we're on Zoom, so the vibes are just different because we're in two different parts of the world. So let's start
Hotel
there.
room.
Literally, yes.
I almost just
And I'm
forgot
in
what
my
city
own
I'm
room.
in. Minneapolis.
First of all, I did a package on the Warriors the other day, and I said Minneapolis.
Minne-
Minneapolis. I was actually today years old or that day years old when I realized it was Minneapolis. So
yeah,
uh,
Minneapolis.
we're
It,
learning as we go.
yes, we are. Also, I haven't been on a Zoom in a minute, like just talking with someone. So I'm like, how does it work? I don't know how to record. Like, I feel like I'm
I'm saying
trying to figure out technology.
trying to figure this out has been kind of crazy. That said, Whitley, what can they expect on this episode of Airin Wit?
One, like we said, we may be a little all over the place. Bear with us. But it'll be a good time. Obviously, we have to talk about the Steph injury and how that affects the series. Just brutal, absolutely brutal.
Mhm.
Let's see. My brain just blanked out. So that tells you all where I'm
The
at.
whirlwind of a week, which is probably the reason why your brain just blanked out because it's been a whirlwind of a week.
I
Okay,
am
we
like
need y'all
going
to
off of
bear
I
with
don't
us.
even know how many hours of sleep. Uh,
Literally.
why am I forgetting? Is there something wrong with me?
No, you're okay. We're just hardworking women with no one helping us. So, so the topic number 2, obviously, is what we just explained: how crazy of a week it's been, and how we're hanging on literally by a thread.
Oh, that's the
And
next topic.
and then the last topic, we are going to talk about our favorite Met Gala outfits. Well, we're going to talk about Met Gala outfits, whether it was slip or drip between all of the athletes and former athletes that we saw grace the Met Gala carpet, the blue carpet, if that's what they called it. It was absolutely blue. I just don't know if it had a specific name. So we'll jump into all of that today. But obviously, we have to start with the tough news first, which, Whitley, you are boots on the ground in Minneapolis covering the Warriors in this Minnesota series. How I miss you to be here in the Bay, but it's
I
okay. You got to
know.
get the job done.
It's
Tell us what has been going on since you got there and what have you learned since game 1?
game one when Steph suffered the injury. I knew immediately it wasn't good just because typically when someone grabs their hamstring and he immediately just like asked out and he was like trying to get the bench's attention. And so I knew then it wasn't good, but then he told Draymond, Draymond's like, "Hey, are you all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back." When you're 37, hamstring injuries in general are just absolutely brutal because they take forever to heal and they can linger. So I knew it probably wasn't great. And then post game, the vibe, you could just kind of get a sense that they weren't saying that it was, that he was gonna, how much time he was gonna miss. They for sure said game two. And then, but just the vibe, you could tell it was more than that. He had a pretty bad limp after game one, obviously, because his hamstring. So yeah, it's brutal all around right now for the Warriors. And I think what's even more brutal is he was cooking before he got injured. And I think this series we talked about before that I think the series for him was going to fit him so where, coming off that Houston series where they were defending him the way that they were defending him, until he got injured, he was getting basically every shot that he wanted. Um,
Yeah.
and so I know I feel for him. I feel so bad for him.
Yes, it is very tough to know that here we are about to go into game 2 here in a few hours, and he won't be able to play. Now, the good thing about it It's like I said last series, when you are the team that has to start on the road, the first focal point in the series is get one on the road and take care of business at
Yeah.
home. Now, I didn't see the Rockets series going 7 games initially. It did go 7 games, which probably contributed to the likelihood that he did strain that hamstring in game one against the Timberwolves. But that said, this one I see going into a 7 game series. So I do think it's going to be a bit of back and forth. If I have to make a prediction, I would say that the Timberwolves probably get game 2 and 3, honestly.
Yeah.
But then the Warriors find a way to get games 4 and 5 or 4 and 6 and fight at game 7 to win the series and continue on in this season. So obviously, this means that Robin has to step up in the superhero role because Batman is benched right now,
Yep.
suffering from a hamstring injury. And so we need Robin to do Robin like things and really come through when Batman is kind of lacking, because that's where we are right now. So did you get to talk to Jimmy Butler at all after the game or in pressers the next day?
I know you and I have been throughout, first game, I was texting you like, Jimmy, this is when I need him to turn into a complete playoff Jimmy, and score. And I think that's what's going to have to happen without Steph. We know he's Jimmy, he's a pass first guy, and he wants to get his teammates the ball, but this is the time where he has to just flip the switch and look to get to the basket, draw fouls, because I think that's going to be the only way that they stay in this series while Steph is out. I mean, you also want your role players to step up. Pods, I think he's due for a pretty big night offensively. He played great in game one, but he didn't shoot the ball well. And I think that we're going to see maybe Pods step up. Moody hasn't been shooting the ball well. I feel like he's kind of due. So these role players need to step up. But Jimmy, it's time, Jimmy. We're ready.
Jimmy Buckets, playoff Jimmy, Robin, Alfred, whatever name you want to go by. We need you to do
Yeah.
the thing that you do in the playoffs,
Mhm.
okay? Especially in game 3. Now, game 2 may be very similar to game 2 of the first series against the Rockets, where they dropped this one. Not necessarily because they're trying to like rest their players, but just because the Minnesota Timberwolves are probably due for a win, and I don't see Anthony Edwards having a slow night like he had in game 1. So obviously, I'm not predicting that the Warriors win game 2, but I am hoping that Jimmy Butler, as well as Draymond Green, who went off in game 1, to continue with their heroics, because goodness gracious, Draymond Green was masterful in game 1, which hopefully he can keep that going. You actually talked about that matchup between Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert ahead of this series before we even knew if they were going to get out with the Rockets,
And Rudy Gobert
and
was
I
pretty
think you were spot
non-existent.
on.
Oh, well, thank you. I try to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, Rudy Gobert was pretty non-existent in game one. But the main thing was their game plan going into that, which will be their game plan for the rest of the season. They were fighting for loose balls. They were boxing out. And that's what you have to do against Rudy Gobert because he's a great, rebounder, especially offensive rebounds, which would ultimately end up really beating the Warriors if they allow that to happen. I mean, we saw that in the Rockets series. And so taking care of the ball, preventing Rudy from grabbing offensive boards, all that stuff is going to be crucial the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't have long to wait, just a few hours, and hopefully we see how that game plan materializes tonight in game 2. But we shall see, because like I said, I don't predict that they will get this one, but I do predict that they will get at least one of the two at home. All right. Now, obviously, we are conflicted. If you cannot tell, our thoughts are all over the place. Our analysis is not necessarily as spot on as usual, but this is what happens. The life of being a woman in media, a person in media altogether, is not always glamorous, okay? Even though
It
we make it
is.
that way. Okay, there we go. I was waiting on Whitley to match my energy. Okay, there you go. Period. So, exactly. It's not always glamorous, but because it's not always glamorous, we want to explain to you what our weeks look like, which is why we are all over the place this episode. But we just had to give you guys another episode because we've been so consistent and we want to keep it that way. So I'll start first because Whitley's week has been much more chaotic than mine. Mine has just been a week from hell. honestly. So that being said,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
um,
laugh at that. That was bad. That was
it's
bad
okay. It's
timing.
okay. It's funny. It's funny. You know it. You sympathize because you know you've been there. You go through it too,
Yeah.
and they may think yours is worse than mine actually, but with a lot of razzle dazzle of fun in there too. So yeah, this week has been kind of wild between the Warriors on Sunday. Of course, I anchored that night, so I was in studio with job number one and covering that. So I was literally torn. Did I want them to win? Did I want them to put me out of my misery? Well, once they started winning, I was like, I want this win. Let's go ahead and take it to Minnesota, right? So they got that win, anchored that show, got home very late that night from work. It's okay. Wake up the next day, which was Monday. Monday was another long day. More Warriors coverage, but just from in-house, kind of like Sunday, so not too crazy. But then from there, some internal battles going on there between trying to stay sane and also do a good job. And then after that, came the Valkyries' historic preseason game, the first ever for the franchise that is an expansion team coming into the W this year, which was a lot of fun to cover. I have to tell you, they hosted the LA Sparks, so Kelsey Plum, Derek Hamby, also Rakia Jackson, a lot of stars and star power on that team in the LA Sparks. And the Valkyries did come up short, but it was so nice to see head coach Natalie Nakase get her team together. The fight in the competition in the identity and the blood of this team. I'm so excited to see what the Valkyries do. They made a believer out of me in the first preseason matchup that this is not a team that just has been thrown together. No, this is a team that's been carefully constructed, which they have said multiple times before, but they looked great. They looked really great. They came out, got down 14 points going into halftime, came back, tied it up at the end of the third quarter, lost by just 1 point, 83-82 being the final score in favor of the LA Sparks, but that was just preseason. And even more, I was excited about the fact that the fans showed out the way they showed out. Oh my gosh, it was like a
Oh, it's
Warriors
atmosphere.
game.
I heard it. That's what I heard.
It was packed.
Mhm.
It was packed. And I was shocked because it's not often that you get a crowd that big for a team that has never played before. And it was packed. Everybody was in their Valkyries gear, young girls, young boys, grown men, grown women, older men, older women. It was packed from top to bottom. And Chase Center is a hard place to pack out, but it was a great game and a great turnout from fans. I'm going to keep it short because after that, I got a stomach bug and I don't know what I ate between the game and getting home, but whatever it was, it didn't agree. And this is
Oh,
why I have these sunglasses on. So hopefully you don't see how drained I look in my face. So there was that.
well, you
And
still look
then
glamorous and gorgeous, so
oh,
no one ever know.
I'm trying to hold it together, trying not to fall out here in
That's all
faint
you can do
actually
at
at this
this point,
moment.
right? That's all you
You,
can do.
you, you get what I'm saying? So Wednesday, I actually had to take a beat because I did not feel well. I had to take a beat. And that's another thing that is hard to do in this business is prioritize your health mentally and physically. And so I had to take that time to do that so that I could get back up and running today, which the Niners have mini camp. So we'll have more on that next week because it hasn't happened yet. But we get to meet the rookies and we'll talk more about that next week. But for now, obviously, I'm going to toss it over to my co-anchor right here who had a much more chaotic week. How was it getting to the playoffs in Minneapolis?
I don't even know what day we're actually on, to be honest. So if I say the wrong days, just ignore me.
Yeah. And I
Of
know it's Minneapolis now. I just said Minneapolis to be funny. Okay. Okay.
let's see. So anytime like a series goes to game seven, it always makes it more, I don't want to say difficult because we're all so lucky to be doing what we're doing, but it makes it more difficult to plan. And you're waiting till the last minute and then you're booking, you're figuring all that out. And so my boss hit me up on like I said, I don't even know what day. I think it was Monday. And it was like, hey, we're trying to, get you out there. Do you want to go? So hurry up, booked everything, had to find Puck, a puppy sitter, got all that taken care of. Then the Tuesday, correct, I think that was the day of game one. Yes. I flew in that morning. So I left San Francisco at 6 a.m. got to Minneapolis, checked into my hotel, dropped off my stuff, changed, and went to the game. And so and the night before I didn't sleep because I was up packing and, that whole thing. I'm always the worst at traveling too. Can I just say that? Packing. You got to experience me in Cancun.
Cancun was a time, but you had like four suitcases. Okay, I had one carry
We
on because
had
I am.
everything. We had everything we both needed though. If there was one thing you were missing, I'm like, oh, I got that. Like
That is true. We both had each other because I am the queen of
you
packing
are.
a whole bunch, but making it look like a whole lot of little.
Yeah.
Because one, I do not trust airports with my check bags. Not that I have ever lost my bag. I just have heard too many horror stories. So I try my best to fit every single thing I need into a carry-on. And by gosh, I always make it happen, as I did in Cancun. But there were a few times I needed some help in Whitley with her 4 big suitcases because she
I had
checked about
everything.
3 bags.
I had everything. But actually this time I packed better though. I will say that, but that's why I'm
Mhm.
like missing things here. And I'm like, oh, I should have brought that shirt. I should have brought, but I'm just like, it was last minute, whatever, threw stuff in. So I was up all night. So I yet on Tuesday, I was going off of 1 hour of sleep, literally. And then here, that's another thing. We are so lucky to live on the West Coast when it comes
Mm,
to tip-off times and game times.
yeah.
Tip-off out here was at 8:30. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get out of Target Center until might have been 2:30.
Mm,
It was late. Um,
mm,
so it was yeah. And ever since then, it's just nonstop. When you're on the road, it's great because you get a lot of access, but you have availabilities, you have all these different things throughout the day. So even on an off day, shout out, buddy, two fingers, not quite.
not the air quotes, but the 2 fingers.
When the Warriors have an off day, they don't even have an off day. So you're going to availabilities. Then during the playoffs, there's all these events. So yeah, so I am literally running off of fumes right now, but I love it. But that's
Mhm.
also why I have the glasses on because
Look, I'm telling you, look, we're
my
making
eyes aren't like that bad, but
we're
some
making we
people
don't
have
look
picture
that
of mine.
bad, but to us, we want to give y'all perfection, okay? And we're struggling. So this is us hiding our imperfections.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel
Whatever.
like I
I
left.
can get them back on
I
without breaking.
I can't remember the last time my brain has felt like where I can't put a complete sentence together, and I'm starting to get the giggles. And I get the giggles anyways, but when I reach a certain level of exhaustion,
Yes.
I just start laughing.
Girl,
I get
I'm
the
with
giggles
you.
and I can't stop. And I'm like, okay,
Okay, it is what it is. But
yeah.
since I'm living vicariously through you, what are the vibes in Minnesota?
Like the city? Is that-
Yeah, have you got to see any of it at this point? I know you've been super busy.
Yes. And it's made me realize anyone who talks shit about San Francisco needs to like visit other cities
Well,
because
that's me because I talk a lot about San Francisco. Well, I'm
yeah,
better now. But when I
yeah.
first moved here, oh, I.
But it just shows, and I'm not even saying like talking bad about Minneapolis, but
Mhm.
cities are cities. You're gonna have like
Yeah.
the homeless
Stuff.
issues, the drug issues, all this
Yeah.
stuff. But I definitely will say that it has been interesting. And to tell you one little story,
Okay. Period. Story time.
we're working at, working late. One of the security guards came in and told someone that there's like the media members, because a lot of us stay around Target Center.
Mhm.
And he was like, don't walk back. We're getting reports of some gang activity going on. Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing again. That's not funny. I laugh at the I'm like
Girl,
the
what?
like say if we're like standing there.
Don't walk back. How about you walk me back? What are you talking about? Or
Yeah,
call me a
so shout out
ride.
Marcus
What are we
Thompson. Like I got
doing?
to walk back. Like I didn't walk back by myself, but like we ended up leaving like a couple hours. They came and told us that. So we were like, surely it's whatever was happening was why am I laughing? We're like, surely it's done by now. But so yeah, so that was interesting. So Minneapolis, it's not what I expected. I've been here like it's been over a decade ago though, and I don't remember it being like this.
I've been to Minnesota. I don't think I've ever been to
Yeah.
Minneapolis.
And then just like the amount of times I've been approached when I was walking to Target Center, I'm just like, wow, this is interesting.
Ah,
The vibes are interesting. Yeah.
the vibes are interesting. Well, the vibes have been pretty dead here without you guys. I absolutely miss you all. It was
Right.
very actually, although the crowd showed out for the Valkyries game, it was very empty in Chase as far as media goes compared to what's usually there for the Warriors. And I know it's
Yeah.
probably because it was a preseason game, but also because many of the journalists were traveling also at the same time for game
I
one.
wanted to be there so bad.
Agree. Yeah, and I know that once the season starts, it'll be many more people there. It's just that it's coinciding right now with the Warriors being in Minnesota. But that said, the media meal, this is just a sidebar. Not that we're gonna stay here for long. Was fantastic. Maybe that's why I got sick, but I ate so
Good.
much of it. Oh my gosh, it was the best it has ever been at
What
Chase.
was it?
They had some type of like ravioli pasta, but it was like white sauce and it tasted chef's kiss with meatballs, and they were real good meatballs with bunches and bunches of tomato sauce or whatever sauce, spaghetti sauce you put on meatballs, but they went well with the white sauce pasta ravioli that was stuffed with, like, I want to say it was chicken inside the ravioli. It was ridiculous. Never seen this meal in my life, but it was actually very good. I was thoroughly impressed by the Valkyries and whatever impression they made on Chase Center to make that meal. I told them they need to run it back for Saturday's game, game 3
Mm.
and 4, and hell, the rest of the playoffs if they can, because that was the best meal that I have had at Chase. But like I said, I ate too much of it, and I don't know if that's what soured on my stomach. So maybe it wasn't. No, I'm not gonna say it wasn't that great. It was fire, but I got sick not long after getting home after the game. So I don't think it was that though. I think it was
Yeah.
something else. Maybe it was, I don't know, something I ate in between because I'm a little greedy, and I definitely had like ice cream and popcorn and some old stuff after I
And
had
Aaron's
that.
constantly eating just to eat
Yeah, that's
all
me.
the time.
That's us. That's us. Okay, speaking of constantly eating just to eat, not that this has anything to do with eating, but did they eat on the Met Gala red carpet? Because we're not going to keep you guys long because obviously we can't even construct our thoughts today. This is literally to appease y'all and be consistent. This episode, we just are throwing
The
together.
true just, I mean, we're always real. That's one thing I will say about us. Every time we do our podcast, that's just Aaron and I. Like, that's just how we are when we're laughing nonstop.
Yes.
But this is the true just, I will admit it, I am a hot mess.
Girl, you
My brain is like, what is happening?
literally. I'm surprised these curls turned out the way they did because baby,
Yeah, it looks
this
bomb.
hair was on the
So good.
counter all
I
night.
haven't done my hairs. That's where you know where I'm at.
I'm just saying. Okay, so let's break down these looks and then we're going to break down so that I can actually literally break back down on my couch
Like, go
because
have a
I am
breakdown.
struggling. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Okay, so where is okay. So we're gonna break down the looks from all of the, not all of the, but some of the athletes that were on the red carpet or the blue carpet at the Met Gala on earlier this week. What day was that? Monday? Monday? Monday Met Monday? Yeah, I think it was Monday.
Yeah, I think that's right.
All
That's right.
right. So what did you think of let's see, where do we want to start? Whitley. Okay, and I want to preface this by saying by no means am I love fashion and I love a look, but
Mhm.
I am not artsy fartsy, so I don't necessarily always understand fashion.
I think my
I
mom
just know
always,
what I think looks good,
yeah,
you know? So that's what I'm basing my perspective off
yeah.
of. So everybody that knows designer from 1942, miss me.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So let's start here.
Camis.
Angel Reese. So I should start by saying the theme for this year, which I absolutely loved, was giving 1920s, 1940s, I think it was,
Okay, what
super
was the actual
fine,
thing?
huh?
What was the actual things? They have a theme each year.
Super fine tailoring black style. So tailored suits is what we saw a lot of. It was about really nice straight lines, nice edges on shoulders. I'm not making a lot of sense right now. Very, very straight fashion. Okay. Straight fashion. We are so apologetic for this episode. Okay. So apologetic. It has been a week. It
I
has been a
would
week.
like to
Playoffs are
apologize for
hard,
everyone
y'all.
who's
Playoffs are hard, and my
I know
Zoom
it's
meeting is ending in 10 minutes. So let's run through this really fast and we're going to dip out of here. Okay. So we got 10 minutes. Okay. Angel Reese. So she wore a nice ensemble of this two-piece black dress that had like a corset type of bottom tailored to the gods. I loved it.
I loved it. I loved her hair. I love the entire thing. Like I thought she absolutely nailed it. And like I'm not
Killed
a
it.
big fashion person. Like I was telling you, like I love fashion, but I'm not like, but I love that. Just the look,
Yes.
love it.
Love the look, love the hair,
Mhm.
love the vibes. She carry um what do we think about her look? Slipper drip.
Wait, who are we looking at now?
She
Oh,
carries Richardson. Slipper drip. She had like a lace ensemble. It was giving like fairy in a garden. I didn't get
I think it goes with the theme.
exactly. I didn't get tailored.
No, not
No,
tailored at all. So if we're
super
going
fine.
off the theme, what are we saying? Slip or drip?
Slipper drip. She might have slipped on this
Yeah,
one.
I think she slipped.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Serena Williams, slip or drip?
Ooh.
She had on this beautiful blue gown with like this puffer cape ensemble. I liked it.
I mean, in this picture I'm seeing, she looks gorgeous. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm just gonna admit to you. Earlier when you asked me if I looked at if I if I looked at the post you sent me, I didn't. So this is my first time, honestly.
Oh my, okay. Okay, backstory. Okay, so
My
we are
authentic
both very
reaction to me.
perfectionists. We are both very we are both always trying to be perfect in everything that we do. Okay, I'm trying to use the right tense here. I am the one that's like week in, week early on, I am trying to like prepare. Whitley is more of the type that she has given what I sent her and all the stuff I do send because I send a lot. She's
Yeah.
glimpsed at it, but
I
maybe not looked at it in too much detail. But make sure that right before she does everything she needs to do to be prepared. Except this week when we're both very discombobulated,
yeah,
okay?
that's
So y'all are going to have to bear with us because I
but this is my
honestly,
authentic reaction to this. But it just reminded me earlier when you're like, "Did you look at the post I sent you?" I said, "Yeah."
I sent
I
her a
did not.
post where it showed these athletes and their outfits. And
So
I
I'm
said,
just
"Did you
seeing
look
all
at
of them.
the
They look
post?"
great.
And she was like, "Yeah, I looked at the post." I said, "Those are the outfits we're gonna break down, slipper drip." And she was like, "Yeah, I looked at it." She just admitted to
I
me,
did
guys,
see
in
one of them.
real
We'll get to.
time.
I did see one of them. We'll get to, but most of these I did not. So Serena, love. I think she looks absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Is that tailored vibe?
So funny you asked
I like
because
it.
I didn't think it was the tailored vibe either. But what I did notice was I didn't know if maybe back in the time of like I said, I think my mom said it was like 1920s, 30s or 40s that this style came from. Black tailoring black style. With the tailored suits and the pinstripes and all that kind of stuff. It was back in like the days that puts me in the mind of like swing dancing, not swinging,
Yeah.
swing dancing, right? And so I think glamour was a part of that era as
Yeah.
well. And I think when the men wore the feathered caps with the pinstripe suits, that the women wore these glamorous gowns because Diana Ross also had on a very glamorous gown as well. So I think that's where they were pulling from. Because there was a lot of glamorous gowns, but there were a lot of tailored suits as well. Which brings us to my next couple. Used to be my favorite couple. Not that they're not still my favorite couple. I just don't necessarily have a favorite couple anymore. Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union.
Yeah.
Slipper drip.
Ooh, drip for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Dripped
I
out.
love
Drip. I love it.
drip.
I
Love
think
it.
I love the tux. If that's labeled as a tux nowadays that Dwayne Wade has on with the tail on it. Love the dress that Gabrielle
That
Union has
rhinestones on
on.
it.
Huh?
His tux, like his vest part, have rhinestones on it.
It does. It
Oh,
does. At
look
least
at
it
her
looks like
weight.
it
Look at
does.
her. Like, this is incredible. Love.
Beautiful. It's giving old Hollywood glamour,
Yeah.
and I live for
They
it.
weren't
Love
trying
it.
too hard either. It just
No, they weren't.
glamour. Love that.
Yes. All right. Simone Biles, slip or drip? Actually, I think her husband actually was dripped out. I
Yeah.
like her dress.
I don't like her dress.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just because that's not my vibe, not my style. Her hair,
Mm-hmm.
like that. If like that looks good. But yeah, I'm not feeling the dress at all.
I'm gonna tell you why I like it. Simone is, as we know, tiny. She
Yes.
does not look tiny in this dress,
Mhm.
which is easy to be swallowed up by something with so much going on. I feel like, in my opinion, like I said, I'm not a stylist, nor am I someone in the fashion world, just going off my consumer opinion. And I think she did a great job with the fact that it was a little out there, it was a little adventurous, but cute. I liked it. I'd say it wasn't a slip. I'd say she dripped in this one. I actually like Simone Biles' outfit.
Okay. I feel like I need to see different angles too. Because sometimes,
Okay.
yeah, I love the color on her. Like the color is beautiful on her.
Yeah.
But like I said too, when you look at one angle, because sometimes you see a dress and you're like, oh, I don't really like it. And then you see a different angle. It's like, okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I'm seeing, not my favorite. Love the,
Okay.
she looks stunning still. Like,
She does look cute. She
honestly.
looks cute.
Yeah.
All right. Russell Wilson and Sierra. Slipper
Wow.
drip.
Oh, drip,
Drip.
drip.
Drip, 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 drop. I'm gonna tell you something. It's very rare that Sierra does something wrong with her fits.
Hmm.
Um, no wrong done here. That's all I can say.
No.
I love the diamonds. I love the drapery of the diamonds. I love the I don't even know if I can call it asymmetrical or what. But the way that the
Line.
lining of the dress,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
That's
And
love.
Russell Wilson kept it simple, which he usually does. He lets Sierra shine. Men take notes. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's do one more because it's time for us to get out of here. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings. Slipper drip with his tailored black and white semi pinstriped outfit.
Puppy sleeve.
Yeah. I would say he
Oh,
slipped on this one.
yeah. Same. But once again, I feel like fashion people would look at this and be like, oh,
And
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Personally, not my vibe.
No.
Um, yeah, that's interesting. It reminds me actually of like a dress I have that I remember I wore it not just
Oh, actually, your dress is really cute though.
yeah, so it wasn't like as puffy as this, but it was definitely kind of the same design and it has the puffy sleeves.
Yeah.
And so I saw this, I'm like, hmm.
So, guys, this is what happens
Cape?
when sports people talk fashion.
Is that a cape that he has?
Talking about Saquon Barkley?
No.
No, not Saquon Barkley. You talking about
No, we're Justin Jefferson
Justin
still.
Jefferson? Yeah, I
I
think.
think that
But
was
I think
after
it's like
like,
a cape built into the jacket.
oh, okay. Interesting.
Very interesting.
About to fly away.
Honorable mention, although I think she actually was one of the best. Tiana Taylor. She's not in sports though, so we didn't mention her because she's not an
Is hers on
athlete.
here? Let me see. Yeah, I haven't finished scrolling through.
Oh no, she's not on this side.
Oh,
Only athletes are on this side. But Tiana Taylor ate them up. I love a suit, and I loved the fact that she was giving me I don't know, she was giving me something,
here,
but
go
it
look.
was giving
That's
me
what
life.
I because I haven't hardly seen anyone besides Savannah. I haven't seen any.
Savannah ate down, and she wore a black designer Hanifa. I have a few of their pieces. Love, 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 love what Savannah had on. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Stunning. Loved it.
Stunning.
But that's
Oh,
pretty much the only person I saw. And now the post you sent me that I just saw.
and LeBron couldn't make it because of his knee injury that he
Yeah.
sustained at the end of the season, and she held that carpet on her own.
She's
Loved
stunning.
it. Also, very beautiful. And her glam team, they deserve some awards. We have 14 seconds, guys. This is episode 4 of Airin Wit. It's been tough. Whitley,
Something.
we brought you something. Consistency is key, baby, and that's what we're being. Have a good time.